Let's look at congruent shapes. So two shapes are congruent if corresponding angles are equal and corresponding sides are equal. So if we look at an example, we've got two right angled triangles here, and we can see that each corresponding side of each triangle is equal. So if we look at the perpendicular heights of the two triangles, we've got 3 meters in the triangle on the left, and we've also got 3 meters for the triangle on the right. Similarly, the hypotenuse, so the side that's opposite the right angle, is equal to 5 meters in this left triangle, and it's also equal to 5 meters in the triangle on the right. So the hypotenuse are the same, and the base lengths are also the same. We've got 4 meters for this triangle and 4 meters for this triangle. So each corresponding side is equal in length. We can also see that each corresponding angle is also equal. We've got a 90-degree angle here and a 90-degree angle here. They're both equal in value and they're corresponding. We can also see that the corresponding angles at the top are both 53 degrees, and the corresponding angles at the bottom, so 37 degrees here, is the same as 37 degrees here. Therefore, since all of the corresponding sides are equal and all of the corresponding angles are equal, then the two shapes must be congruent. Think of this as two shapes that have the same size and the same shape. The example says, work out the missing values w, x, y, and z, and we're given two quadrilaterals, and we're also told that the shapes are congruent. So the way we go about answering this question is, first, since we're told that the shapes are congruent, we know two facts. We know that all of the corresponding sides must be equal in length, and we also know that all of the corresponding angles must be equal in value. And so we can see that the shape on the left and the shape on the right are mirror images of each other. So this shape flipped over gives us the shape on the right. You can see that this length is 3.1 meters and this length is also 3.1 meters, and they're corresponding. We can also see that this length is 4 meters and this length is also 4 meters, and they're corresponding. And so these top two lengths must also be corresponding. And so we can equate the two lengths to give us that 3.5 meters equals to x. Because the two shapes are congruent and these two sides are corresponding, then they must be equal in length. We can also establish that the bottom two sides must also be equal in length, since again we're told that the shapes are congruent and so corresponding sides must be equal in length. So y equals to 2.8 meters. Also know that corresponding angles within congruent shapes must be equal. So if we look at the two shapes, we know that this angle is 90 degrees and it corresponds to this angle here, which is also 90 degrees. This bottom right angle is 83 degrees and it corresponds to the bottom left angle in this shape, also 83 degrees. So they're equal in value. And we also know that this angle is 102 degrees and it corresponds with the angle W in this shape here. So because the shapes are congruent, the two angles must be equal, and so W must equal to 102 degrees. And then finally, the missing angles here, Z we don't know, but we know that it corresponds to 85 degrees in this shape. And so since the shapes are congruent, then Z must equal to 85 degrees. And we can also check that we indeed have got the correct values. Since we know that this is a four-sided shape, this is also a four-sided shape, then because they're the same shape, they're both four-sided, they must be quadrilaterals. One of the facts about the interior angles of a quadrilateral is that they add up to 360 degrees. So all of these interior angles must add up to 360, and indeed, if we do 102 plus 90 plus 83 plus 85, we find that we get 360 degrees.